Good morning, fellow Ristopians. Welcome back to the channel. I've been away and I have been a naughty Ristopian. I have not kept an eye on my channel, which I won't do again. Going forward, I will try to do a video every week, at least one video a week, and I will answer all questions promptly and reply to comments, which I've kind of done up until now in different ways, but I will reply to them in the official way in the comment section on the channel. I've had my, I mentioned replying to questions. I've had my first viewer's question, which I'm very, very grateful for. Shalish, which I hope I am pronouncing nearly correctly, asked a question on my first video, the Helm Vanuatu steel versus titanium. And I've answered. Hopefully, Shalish, if you're watching, you enjoyed the video. My answer hopefully will help you. It means a lot to me to be part of someone's journey. You know, I've helped. I obviously speak to friends about watches, personal friends that I know and meet in the flesh. You know, I speak to other people, non-close friends about watches. But to sort of, for someone to reach out and ask a question from who I've never spoken to or met before, don't know anything about them, that ask a question. So our link is that we both were on the, in your case, Shailesh, if you're watching, we were both on the Helm waiting list for the same pieces, which I have now got, and hopefully I can help you in your decision, or have helped you in your decision. But that link is really special to me. You know, it's like to be able to hopefully help someone, even just chat to them, it means a lot. And I will not be slacking in my response time in the future. So yeah, I let me know how that goes. I've asked a couple of questions in terms of how much what your wait time is on those two pieces. Hopefully you'll get back to me. But yeah, wish you all luck with both of those pieces. I'm sure whichever one you do get, you'll love. They are a fantastic watch for the money. They're a fantastic watch, right? Money aside, but incredible value, I think. Back to the topic of today's video, which is the Casio Edifice chronograph. Now, the reason one of the reasons that I haven't been, wasn't so attentive on the channel was I've actually been in the London, went down to the London and went to watch Pro Salon 2022, which I'm using this A3 magazine that I got there as a background, which I think works really well. I'll take that off and show you the magazine. So a nice A3 magazine. It's bigger than an A4. Lovely magazine. You can't really see it. I'm not going to take the camera off, but the printing on this is phenomenal. So it's got both matte and gloss printing, and seen at a certain angle, the bezel on this GM Patek Philippe GMT moon phase. I guess, is that going to be a perpetual calendar? Not sure. But yeah, the printing on this cover is amazing, and a lovely thing to be able to take away from Watch Pro. Who was there? Paul Thorpe was there. We saw Paul Thorpe looking dapper. One way of describing his outfit. And Spencer was there with him. They were there were some other, there weren't, I was hoping Andy from the English Watch Channel was going to be there. I'd have liked to have seen him. Nico would have been good as well. But yeah, it was just Paul Thorpe. On the Friday, it was just Paul Thorpe and Spencer that I recognised, in terms of YouTubers anyway. So yeah, fantastic event. Spoke to a lot of the brands there. The ones that I did speak to, I learned a lot about their brands, and I think they did very well in promoting their brands. I think Zin were the one that I would potentially buy one of their watches. I mean, they were always on the radar anyway, So I had questions I wanted to know, and I found some things out I didn't know about them. I won't go into that in this video, but it's probably not the piece that I walked away from the show thinking I may purchase, but there's another one that potentially I think I need to go into somewhere that has Zin watches to purchase in store. But yeah, so all the brands really good. The event was extremely well hosted. I think that the food, the canapes were great, really top notch. I'm a bit of a fussy. I'm not into sort of creamy things and overly fishy, but there were so many nice canapes. The staff. They got to know me. One lady in particular, when she needed to empty a tray, she'd find me because she knew I wasn't going to say no. Yeah, they were excellent. Really well organised event. The food and drinks just kept flowing. The stands were brilliant. The eBay were there, which on the list of exhibitionists. Yeah, I guess it is. Sounded rude, but yeah, on the list of they were fully clothed. On the list of exhibitionists, they were a bit of an. I thought, why is eBay there? But they're. I know they're kind of big into used items. That's something they're pushing on their eBay site generally, and they're now getting. They're now up in their game with watches. So they've got a system in place which should be great for both buyers and sellers. I won't go into it, but it did sound really good. And the eBay stand, I had an eBay grabber, which they were you could win some really nice watches. There was a Breitling Endurance Pro red one. There was a Tudor Black Bay 925 silver, sterling silver there. And it was all very it ended up being a raffle. It was a grabber that turned into your raffle ticket was in the grabber, and the odds seemed really good. There weren't too many people there that were waiting for the prize, and I thought I was 99, and the lady called out 90, and my heart just raced, but it ended up being 92. So. Yeah, I mean, that guy's going to be guy. I think it was all guys that won. There were girls there as well, but it was all guys that won. And I tend to use the term guys, without being gender specific anyway. But yeah, he must be. I think it was 3 prizes drawn, and they must be very, very pleased with that. Great event. So back to the review. So as I've always done up until now, I didn't intend to, but I'll kind of chat about in the next video the watch that I'm currently wearing on my wrist. So last time that was this Casio Edifice chronograph. Now I bought this because I have a bit of a thing about big watches. I do quite like a nice chunky watch, and I saw this on Watchfinder. It was, I can't remember what the video was about, but this was one of the watches that featured. It must have been something to do with value. So it was the blue one that they had, and I'm a sucker for silver and blue watches, blue and silver watches. And that was one thing. I couldn't get the silver one, the blue one. I got this at a good price. I couldn't get the blue one. But although I'm not massively keen on black dials, I think the amount of silver on here just makes I think it's a really good looking big chronograph, and so that's the second reason. And the third one is I already have a Casio Edifice 3-hand, which I love. £62 I think I paid for this. Loved the blue, loved the kind of squares on the, is that the Rehort there? Loved the shape of the hands, loved the blue and orange, and love the fact that it hits the markers extremely well. It's never going, no watch is ever going to, no quartz is ever going to hit the markers perfectly. There was a Grand Seiko at Watch Pro, and I had a quartz one, and I had a proper look at that, and that didn't hit the markers. I just don't think it's possible. If anyone's going to do it, I think Grand Seiko are going to do it, but they didn't. And yeah, so it's always going to be, it's going to just alarm my OCD. But this edifice, I have other Casios, I've got G-Shocks, but this was the first edifice that I bought. Really, really like it. You know, 62 pounds. You know, it's a pressed steel clasp. It's quite a thin, jangly bracelet. I mean, but that's what you kind of expect, and it's fantastic. I think one day I'd like to try a Casio or Oceanus. Is it Oceanus? Yeah, so they're top end, which are JDM, Japanese domestic market only. As far as I'm aware, they have octagonal crowns a lot of the time, which I don't think I can do. So, but that's on the back burner. I'd quite like to try Casio Oceanus. But yeah, so had one of those, love it, and that was another reason why I thought I would try the chronograph edifice. And one of the other reasons is I just love, I like big watches, but I like this lug width. It's so chunky. I mean, to me, this is Alien versus Predator watch. It's almost got double lugs there. I know there aren't any lugs because it's an integrated bracelet. And if there was, it would be, they would be the lugs because they're outside of the strap. But it's almost like it's got lugs and lug outriders. A bit like the teeth from the xenomorph in Alien and Aliens and Alien 2. Alien 3, no, Aliens is Alien 2, Alien 3, and so on. And the strap is kind of very Predator-like to me. So yeah, I love it's just a nice chunky watch. And going, you know, having the previous edifice, I think that quality for this was about £100. And it hits the markers as well, very well. Now, the title of the video is FlyBack To The Future. Now, I have listened to some advice from my viewers in that the title should be more catchy for the search engine. But as someone that grew up with, in that era, in the 70s, 80s, with Star Wars in 77 and I think Back to the Future in 85, I couldn't resist that title. Because the feature that I'm going to show you on this, obviously, it's got a stopwatch, date, etc., blah, blah, blah. But the feature I'm going to talk about is the semi-flyback function. Now, quartz chronographs I really like because they often have, one of my favourite feature on a quartz chronograph would be a 1/10 of a second subdial. This doesn't have that. But when they do, I think that's well worth having because, you know, I go back to 1985. The little kid in me loves the fact that the subdial spins around 10 times a second and looks fantastic. That doesn't have this. It also doesn't have a split time feature, which would be you'd start the start the stopwatch rather. Second hand would start ticking, and then once the lapse being completed, or you'd push it again. And then you would be able to, actually, no, you wouldn't do it like that, would you? I can't show you what you would do, but basically you would stop that by pushing the reset. And it would stop. And then when you restarted it, it would go to the point at which it would have been if you hadn't stopped it, if that makes sense. And you can keep doing that. So you'd start it, push the reset, which would stop it, and rather than reset it, and you'd write that time down, and then you'd start it again, and then you can keep doing that as many times as you want. And this doesn't have that function. So I've stopped it now, and with a normal basic chronograph that doesn't have a flyback feature, you would so you've stopped it, whether it's one that has a lap function feature or not. Once you've finished timing things, and then you would reset with the reset pusher. Now, on a flyback chronograph, and this is the reason I couldn't push it as I was doing it before, because you would have seen what it's now about to do. With a flyback feature, on a mechanical chronograph, you would start the timer, and when you push the reset. So if you want to get it back to 0 on this one and most chronographs, you'd have to push the stop and then you'd have to reset as I just did. On a flyback chronograph, you would be able to, and this is going to half do it, you would be able to, whilst it's ticking, whilst it's timing, you would be able to push the reset and it would fly back to the start without having had to push stop first. But then it would instantaneously keep going. So I'll sort of demonstrate that. I'm going to have to push the start button to do it, but on a real genuine flyback automatic manual mechanical chronograph, you wouldn't have to. So on a flyback chronograph, you would push that, it would go back, and then it would instantly start again. Now I'm not sure what event you would need to do that on. I guess a false start, would that be? That would kind of, if you had a full start. So let's simulate that. So bang, Usain Bolt's up and running. No, but that wouldn't, even that wouldn't. There's no real reason I can think of why you would need to reset and continue timing immediately. And in fact, you know, it wouldn't be an accurate timing, because if you're starting the timing from pushing the reset button, you've got the parts of a second that it took for the second hand to get back to the 12 o'clock. So I can't see why that would be useful at all. But on this one, which has what I would call a semi-flyback feature, as you've seen, working, so it doesn't have split time, but it just saves you having to, if you're timing something and you want to start again, instead of doing that and that, you can just do that. And it's quite cool to watch it do it. So that is the semi-flyback to the future of this watch, which I love. It will get some wrist time. Well, thanks for watching this video. I'm going to try and do another one real soon. Let me know if you have any questions. Hopefully, if you're a new viewer, it would be great if you could subscribe. It is nice to see if people do like the content and if it's worth continuing. But for now, I'm going to go. Boom. But I couldn't do that if I tried. No. Yeah, one wrist, live it.